Hey, 7th graders, it's Mrs. Cervantes.
And Mrs. Talati.
And together we're
Mrs. Servati.
All right, open your note takers to 3.5 Part 2, Dividing Rational Numbers. Your I can statement today is I can divide fractions. So we did decimals yesterday. Today we're doing fractions. So again, the purple box here is going over the rules for quotients of rational numbers. If you look at it, it's everything you already know, but you should review it if you're not sure. So when you're dividing, a positive and a negative is a negative answer. A negative and a positive is a negative. And then positive, 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 negative, negative, positive. So if you want to write it again, you can. So same signs until you know you have it memorized. Same signs positive. And again, this is for dividing and multiplying. So different signs. Your answer will always be negative. Don't forget that this only applies for two numbers being multiplied at the same time. Division, you guys know that you're not going to divide three numbers at a time. Okay. All right, let's look at the first examples. A little bit dark, but we had to improvise on this. All right, so dividing fractions is a little bit different. We're going to do something calling multiplying by the reciprocal. You know what? I'm going to have you guys add something in your... Oh, we could do it here. Just add it in your notes. So reciprocal, most of you know what this is, but some of you may have forgotten. So reciprocal means the flip of a fraction. So if I give you 1/3, the reciprocal is 3/1. So you just flip it, okay? Even if it's negative, you could have -2/5. And remember, you only need one negative sign in there because the fraction's negative. If they're both negative, it would be positive, right? So the reciprocal of that, you can keep your negative on top if you want and call it -5/2, or you could call it 5/2. You just need one negative sign in there. So you're really just flipping your fraction, okay? When you're dividing fractions, so dividing fractions, add this to your notes, is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. And then there's little cute, you know, like keep, change, those types of little hints to do as you're doing it. So dividing fractions is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe I'll write over the top of it. So 3 divided by 4, 3/4 divided by 1/8. What that really becomes is you keep, so keep your 3/4. You change division to multiplication. So keep, change. I would use a dot there, not the little X symbol. I'm going to change that because I don't like that because you guys are starting to work with variables. So I would do that. And then flip, which your flip is your reciprocal. So what did I really just do there? I multiplied. So I kept the first one. I multiplied by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/8 is 8/1. Okay? So your new problem becomes 3/4 times 8/1, and then you guys know how to multiply fractions. You don't have to have a common denominator when you're multiplying. 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 1 is 4. This is an improper fraction. 24 divided by 4 gives you a +6, okay? All right, let's try one together on the bottom. So I'll write it here so you guys can see it better. 7/10 divided by -1/5. Don't let the negative signs freak you out. We are going to multiply by the reciprocal, which means we are going to...
Wait, Cervantes. Hey guys, that's 7/10 divided by a -1/5. A fraction over a fraction is what we call a complex fraction. We want you to very, 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 very much so pay attention to the idea that a fraction bar is the same thing as division.
I'll write it right here.
There we go.
Okay, so this is a complex fraction. And what Ms. Talati's saying is that this bar right here still means divide. Okay? So what you're really looking at is a fraction divided by a fraction. Okay? So when you have a fraction being divided by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. What does that mean if we look back up here? You can use the words keep, change, flip if you want. So you keep the first fraction, you change division to multiplication, and you flip the next fraction, or you flip your denominator. So -1/5 becomes -5/1. And then you just follow your rules for multiplying fractions. 7 times -5 is -35. 10 times 1 is 10. Again, negative 35 over 10 is an improper fraction, so we're going to simplify that to a mixed number. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 35 divided by 10, 10 fits into 35 3 times. 5 left over out of 10 original pieces. Now, 5/10 you guys know reduces to 1/2. So negative 3 and 1/2 would be your final answer. All right, so make sure you memorize the keep, change, flip, or the wording, multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal is just flipping your fraction over. All right, Miss Talati's up.
So we're just going to practice together these next two before we send you on your own. Again, this complex fraction, so I have a negative 5/6. Oh my gosh, no we don't, it's a 5/8. This thing is playing tricks on my eyes. I was just going to say something before you transitioned me too fast, was how long your hair is getting, dude.
Oh.
It like is almost down.
Oh my gosh,
back.
they should write that in their notes.
Yeah, what did Talati talk about?
That was super off topic.
Hair goals, hashtag hair goals. Okay, so again, we have a complex fraction, a negative divided by a negative, so our answer is going to be a positive. I am going to take my negative 5/8 and keep it. I'm going to change my division sign to a multiplication sign, and I'm going to reciprocate my second fraction. Remember, I'm going to flip it. And then I'm going to multiply straight across. So I have a negative 5 times a negative 7, which is a positive 35. And then an 8 times a 6, which is a 48. And again, this negative, see how they're in different locations? I did this on purpose. They're both negatives. So a negative times a negative is a positive. And then my answer is in its simplest form. And I want to refresh your guys' memory that we could look at the cross reducing, the cross canceling out. 8 and 7 don't have a common factor, neither do 5 and 6. Therefore, when I multiplied straight across, I was able to get my simplified fraction as an answer.
And remember, if you don't cross reduce in the beginning, it's not wrong. You just need to make sure that you reduce at the end.
And then we're going to take this next problem and we are going to convert first our fractions into improper fractions or our mixed numbers. So just refresh your guys' memory. If I have 5 and 1/3, we need to multiply our denominator times our whole number and then add our numerator. So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16 over 3. So my first fraction is going to be, don't let that look like it's a negative sign. My first fraction is going to be a 16/3. My second fraction, I have a negative 1 and 1/2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to rewrite it as a division problem, and it's a negative, what I say, 3/2. Now I'm going to follow my rules for division, so I'm going to keep my first fraction, change my division sign to multiplication, and I'm going to reciprocate my second fraction. Again, I'm looking at, do my numerator and denominators have a common factor? 3 and 2 are prime numbers, so they do not. 16 and 3 do not have a common factor, so now I'm going to multiply straight across. So I'm just going to write it like this, maybe to help some of you guys too. 16 times negative 2, 3 times 3. This gives me a negative 32 over 9. So again, that is an improper fraction, so we are not done. 9 goes into 32 3 times. I'm going to carry my negative sign down. 3 times 9 is 27. So 32 take away 27 is a 5. And then my denominator stays the same. So to double check that you did it right, look, I can go 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 5 is 32. So that shows that these two are equivalent, but my final answer needs to be written in that mixed number form. All right, you guys, take a look at, you have 4 problems. Let's make sure this is right because we didn't copy and paste it yet from our note taker. You have 4 problems to try on your own. Remember to write it first as a division problem and then multiply by the reciprocal. Anything else, Cervantes?
Nope. Have a good day, you guys.
Bye.